Your head's in the clouds, Claudette, always in the clouds. Get out of the clouds. But is that such a bad thing in total? Why fit a bell curve, as her father says? Why step in lockstep and never be who you want to be? Claudette is a unique person. Brilliant, smart. A person who studied what she wanted to and became an expert in empathy and botany. A person who's there to save her friends and who else in the fog. Because, as they say, the right person at the right time can make a difference. And that right person is Claudette. Today, in the Law Files, we'll be studying Miss Claudette Morel, the girl with her head in the clouds. Trapped in the torture of the fog, people tend to wonder how it affects the mind of the survivors. But for Claudette, maybe in a way, it was somewhat comforting despite the situation. This girl, who had led such an antisocial life, who had secluded herself away from society and spoke through blog posts as Science Girl. This must have been an experience that was comforting in a way. The endless darkness and solitude was something that she was at least used to. Whether she enjoyed it or not is a different spectrum entirely. But Claudette kept to her knowledge. Her botany knowledge allowed her to heal people. As she's always stated, basic botany knowledge can save your life. And in the fog, it has. It allows her to heal quicker. Her empathy allows her to find people. And her knowledge of medical and plant life has allowed her to heal herself without the use of a medkit. The solidarity that she had suffered made her a perfect contender for the fog, able to survive, hide in foliage that she knew was safe, and avoid the gruesome horrors that plagued around her. A blendette, as it were. But how does this mold from when she was younger? When she was a kid, so desperately in need of friendship. So desperately in need of someone to be there for her. For her birthday, she felt sad that she had nobody, no friends, no one to really say that she'd like to play with. The only thing that she had was her rocks, her bugs, and her plants. But she did have one person, one special person who helped her through her studies, helped her learn, helped her give her the courage to give her parents the right mindset. This was Miss Khalil. One person can definitely change a life. And from Miss Khalil, someone who understood how her mind worked, someone who understood how she could get it, how she could learn, how she could grasp the situations, she grew. Everything became knowledge to her. Everything became understandable. Her teachers who thought she was stupid now saw that she wasn't that. She just wasn't getting it. But now she could get it in her own grasp, in her own mind. Claudette's intelligence shone through. She may still be antisocial, but she was smarter. She was more confident in her own skills. And her parents, upon seeing that, decided to make her happy. After her own concerns were alleviated, her mother decided to listen to her husband and foster the bell curve mentality that Claudette needed. She made Claudette happy, a science kid, not a doll, not jewelry, not something that Claudette had to fake to like, pretend that was interesting. Her mother finally adapted to what she wanted. And this was the best thing for Claudette. Claudette finally realized that her skill set was something to be valued. And in the fog it is. Claudette became the healer of the survivors. Someone who could protect her friends, heal her friends, find out when they're in pain and make sure they're taken care of. Empathy, botany knowledge, and self-care. Free of her unique perks, free of her unique skills, that not only are hers, but that can be passed on to others. Claudette became a very advantaged. What had been such an impressive problem for Claudette had become an advantage, a tool, something that could teach and benefit others. For Claudette, in the fog, is that one person. For those in the fog, she has become the Miss Khalil that she experienced. Someone who helped teach them, someone who used her skills to practically benefit them. She taught them her skills of botany knowledge, her empathy, and her self-care, and she applies them herself. In the fog, such an isolated and lonely girl became such a great advantage. It's amazing what one person can do, and it's amazing what Claudette could do. She wasn't left abandoned. Her parents were there. Miss Khalil were there. And now she has a stronger drive in the fog, a better perceived need for survival. Her loneliness, an advantage. Her parents' loving nature, an advantage. And Mrs. Khalil's attention and right footing was an advantage. Now Claudette can be an advantage. She can be the one in the fog that truly helps out people. And an amazing benefit to that. Growing from such a lonely girl into such a competent and brave survivor. Maybe in the fog, she'll find a way out. Maybe she'll find a way for safety. But until then, Claudette will always be someone whose head is in the clouds, who's stuck thinking about botany and empathy. But in the fog, that's what's needed. That's what keeps you alive. And that's what benefits the team against the ruthless killers they must face. In the end, Claudette shows a lot about the entity. It has no moral code or mercy. This girl from a young age, whose unique interest made her a social pariah, rejected by peers and her teachers alike for her own unique wiring. One who didn't fit the bell curve but was happy for that. The entity plucked her up nonetheless during a stroll through the forest. Her blogmates missed her. Her parents surely did as well. But for the entity, one's own past means nothing. In the end, the survivors are nothing more than vessels for the entity to feed off its emotions. Hope, fear, whatever the survivors have, they are just puppets. As we are finished with Claudette, we'll also strive into the other characters and the killers as well in more detail. And let's just see if anyone else shares similarities or differences with Miss Claudette Morel.